I'm Christopher German for KCTV News for Wednesday, November 19th, 2025. For tonight's broadcast, the stories we're following for you. Salmon are getting into the irrigation system for the basin, and they're making managers like Scott White anxious and frustrated that the fish screens are not here yet. And the Klamath Falls City Council is confronting the persistent challenge of blighted properties throughout the city. And we could see a dusting of snow by Thursday morning, with cold temperatures and moisture working into our region overnight. Now make sure you tune in every morning for weather from the Skywatch Weather Center with weather from the basin for the basin. And tonight's news is brought to you by...
The season of giving and winning is here at Klamath Casino. Join us for Gobbler's Gold drawings and win up to $750 cash. Earn kitchen favorites on our Sunday Delights kiosk. Reap your rewards on Thursday with Harvest Time hot seats for up to $250 cash. Take home up to $500 cash in our Harvest Celebration slot tournaments. Plus on Veterans Day, all active and retired military receive $20 free play. Our way of saying thank you. Klamath Casino, where winning comes naturally.
Our top story, the removal of the last 4 dams on the lower Klamath River in southern Oregon, completed in early October 2024, has been hailed as a major victory for Chinook salmon recovery, opening up hundreds of miles of prime historic spawning habitat. Experts celebrated the milestone in October of this year when a Chinook was captured on video for the first time in over a century, successfully navigating a fish ladder at the still-standing Keno Dam further upriver. However, this success has created an immediate critical challenge. Some of the returning salmon are taking a wrong turn into irrigation channels that lead to farm fields where they are unlikely to spawn or survive. Scott White, general manager of the Klamath Drainage District, which irrigates 27,000 acres of farmland, voiced anxiety and frustration, stating that his district's concern is not wanting to see fish flopping around out in the fields. The issue is particularly acute at the Addy Canal, which is the last large canal to branch out from the river in Oregon, presenting the first major opportunity for migrating salmon to stray. While noting that the fish currently swimming in the canal have little chance of survival once they find their way into the smaller turnouts extending into agricultural land, calling the unscreened canals the equivalent of dangerous off-ramps that need to be closed. This problem was anticipated nearly a decade ago. In 2016, local stakeholders, the federal government, and states of Oregon and California signed the Klamath Power and Facilities Agreement. A key provision of this agreement was to provide non-federal funding for entrapment reduction facilities, or fish screens, to limit new regulatory and financial burdens on irrigators once the salmon were reintroduced. Despite the KPFA being signed and not a single fish screen has been installed in the area to date, leaving water managers like White deeply frustrated by the decade-long delay. Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife acknowledged that while it is unfortunate some fish have entered canals, the exploratory behavior of the salmon is necessary for successful repopulation of the newly available habitat. The agency also stressed that the demand for fish screens is far outpacing supply and that the installation is complex, requiring custom configured designs for each specific site due to varying water and sediment conditions. ODFW is currently working with the Klamath Drainage District on a $4.5 million multi-screen project in the Addy Canal. However, White's frustration remains as the first screen is tentatively planned for 2026, subject to funding approval. White insists that the farmers and irrigation managers share the desire to see the fish thrive, but the state and federal partners must fulfill their commitments made under the KPFA to prevent the successful return of the salmon from leading them to an early end in a farm field. And the Klamath Falls City Council convened on November 17, 2025 for a critical work session dedicated to confronting the persistent challenge of blighted properties throughout the city. The comprehensive discussion illuminated significant legal limitations, substantial financial hurdles, and the city's current strategies for enforcement and rehabilitation. One prominent example highlighted during the session was the former Thrift City building located at 221 Main Street. Despite the owners being delinquent on taxes, Oregon state law mandates a 3-year period of delinquency before foreclosure proceedings can ever commence, followed by an additional 2 years before the county gains full possession. This lengthy legal process means the building could remain a blighted eyesore for another 5 years. Financial constraints present another formidable barrier. Demolishing the former Thrift City building alone carries an estimated cost of nearly $2 million, a sum that the city development director, Ian Vassy, noted would simply leave a hole in the ground without a clear plan for subsequent redevelopment. The city's attempts to penalizing property owners have also proven largely ineffective. Code Enforcement Officer Stephanie Myers described the impact of numerous citations issued to the owners of 221 Main Street as squeezing blood out of a turnip, indicating that the penalties have not compelled action. Beyond aesthetics, city leaders expressed grave concerns that the blighted structures pose significant safety hazards, including an elevated risk of fire. Despite these considerable obstacles, the city is actively pursuing a humanistic approach to code enforcement. Stephanie Myers' team prioritizes communication and aims to connect homeowners with available resources and grants, rather than immediately resorting to punitive measures. This supportive strategy has yielded some positive outcomes, with 9 blighted homes successfully rehabilitated or brought into compliance during 2025. Additionally, the city achieved a notable success by demolishing a property that held the unfortunate distinction of being the last on the Oregon Health Authority's drug lab registry. The city of Klamath Falls continues to collaborate with Klamath County on abatement orders and has previously implemented a vacant property registration program as part of its ongoing efforts to combat blight. And former Democratic Governor Ted Kulongoski, a standing figure in Oregon politics, is spearheading a new effort to fundamentally alter the state's election process by opening up primary elections to all voters. This initiative aims to replace Oregon's current closed primary system, which restricts Democratic voters to Democratic candidates and Republican voters to Republican candidates, effectively excluding independent and minor party voters from participating in partisan primary races. Kulongoski, age 85, is the chief petitioner behind this initiative, 55 and 56. These initiatives propose amending the state's constitution to establish a top 2 primary system mirroring Oregon's existing process for nonpartisan positions like labor commissioner. Under this model, all candidates would compete in a single primary election, with the 2 highest vote getters advancing to a runoff in the general election. The former governor emphasized the unfairness of the current system, noting that non-affiliated and independent voters contribute taxes to fund state elections, but are denied the right to vote in partisan primaries. He believes the public will increasingly agree that it's time to open up the primary system. This push comes at a time when non-affiliated voters constitute the largest single voting bloc in Oregon, making up approximately 37% of the electorate. An additional 7% of Oregonians are registered with minor political parties, further highlighting the significant portion of the population excluded from major primary contests. Kulongoski pointed out that non-affiliated voters outnumber both Democrats and Republicans in 21 of Oregon's 36 counties and in 5 of its 6 congressional districts. Kulongoski's involvement is particularly notable given his long history as a prominent Democrat, having held various key positions including state legislature, Supreme Court justice, insurance commissioner, and attorney general. He acknowledged that the opening primaries is not typically favored by major party loyalists, but asserted that times have changed. He opted for the initiative petition process, believing that the state lawmakers would likely not support such a bill. A similar ballot measure to open Oregon's primaries failed in 2014, but at that time, non-affiliated voters only accounted for 24% of the electorate. Kulongoski attributes the recent surge in non-affiliated voters partly to Oregon's motor voter law, which facilitates voter registration at the Department of Motor Vehicles, prompting many to opt out of major party affiliation. Now working alongside Republicans and independent party leaders, Kulongoski is focused on gathering the necessary signatures to place Initiative 55 and 56 on the ballot next November. He's confident that despite potential opposition from major parties, Oregon voters are ready for this change. Kulongoski believes that increased voter participation will lead to a more moderate governmental process, moving away from the extremes and fostering a search for the political middle. And Oregon state economists delivered a report that contained a mixed financial outlook to lawmakers this week. The initial good news is that the state's anticipated budget deficit has significantly shrunk from over $370 million to a much smaller $63 million. This reduction is largely attributed to the state receiving higher than expected corporate tax payments. However, the less positive assessment is that this influx of corporate taxes is seen as a temporary short-term fix for Oregon's long-term budget issues and does not signify any fundamental strength or growth in the state's economy. The revised revenue forecast gives lawmakers a reprieve. Lawmakers have been hearing testimony from state agency leaders this week about the steep cuts they would have to implement to close the original anticipated budget shortfall. The updated $63 million deficit represents a tiny fraction of the state's $37 billion general fund budget for the current two-year budget cycle or biennium. The larger, nearly $400 million deficit predicted in August was largely a consequence of a legislative report that calculated President Donald Trump's signature tax-cutting bill would cost the state nearly $900 million in lost tax revenue. This is because Oregon's tax code generally automatically copies federal tax law, resulting in automatic state tax reductions following federal tax cuts. In preparation for the larger shortfall, lawmakers have been discussing options like dipping into the state's reserves or disconnecting Oregon's tax code from some of the provisions in the federal bill to safeguard state revenue that would otherwise be lost. Legislative committee days are currently taking place this week for lawmakers to review and discuss the budget implications and possible mitigation strategies. And the Klamath and Lake County's food bank has received a welcome surge of community support, which has enabled the organization to increase the number of holiday meal boxes it will distribute to those in need. This outpouring of generosity from local individuals, businesses, and organizations has significantly boosted the food bank's resources. Furthermore, a local woman independently organized and served a warm Thanksgiving meal for dozens of homeless residents in the area, highlighting another powerful community effort to address hunger during the holiday season. The Klamath Food Bank encourages anyone who wishes to contribute or who is in need of assistance to visit its website. For those looking to donate, monetary contributions or non-perishable food items can be dropped off at their office located at 3231 Maywood Drive in Klamath Falls. They are open Monday through Thursday from 8 a.m. till 4 p.m. and Friday from 8 a.m. till 3 p.m. A monetary donation of just $1 helps the food bank access 5 pounds of food. For households needing food assistance, both short-term and ongoing help is available. Individuals facing a temporary crisis can receive an initial food box by simply signing for it. Households needing ongoing help can sign up for the program at the food bank's office and will be issued a food box card that allows them to receive food boxes from any pantry throughout Klamath and Lake counties. No formal documentation is required to sign up for this assistance, though you will need to provide the names and dates of birth for everyone in your household. More details on assistance or donating guidelines, people can call them at the main office at 541-882-1223 or visit the Klamath Food Bank website. Now it's time for a little weather. The Klamath Basin should anticipate very cold conditions overnight Wednesday into Thursday. Widespread rain and higher elevation snow are expected to spread into the region throughout the night, with east side low temperatures dropping into the frigid 20s. The snow level will start above 6,500 feet on Wednesday evening before lowering significantly to around 4,000 feet by Thursday morning. The rain and snow activity will taper off through Thursday morning, while snowfall will be light and is expected to have little impact on travel. Higher passes may see a coating. Locations like Crater Lake and Mount Ashland could receive between 1 and 3 inches of snow. Rainfall amounts for the region are generally predicted to be between 1/10 of an inch and 1/2 an inch. Looking ahead to Friday, we'll start with colder temperatures and a possibility of fog. The weekend is expected to bring mainly quiet weather, characterized by persistently cold temperatures in the mornings, but potentially milder afternoons. The next chance for precipitation arrives with a weak storm system moving into the region Sunday night into Monday. By next Tuesday, the weather is looking dry, although inland valleys may experience morning clouds and fog. Well, that's it for tonight. So tune in and get your views counted only at KCTV. And make sure you hit that subscribe button to KCTV on your favorite platform. And while you're at it, make sure you log on to KlamathCommunity.tv for the latest news, weather, lifestyle news, sports, including these daily stories posted for you. And you'll find those exclusively on the KCTV news page. So for KCTV News, I'm Christopher German. You know, I did that story on the Klamath and Lake County food banks, and if anybody is in need of a meal to eat, please reach out to the Klamath and Lake County food banks. I would say you could use my computer, but this is my home, and I don't necessarily want people lining up at my home. But the libraries all have access to the computer, and you can always use those computers over at the libraries, so that if you do need to reach out and get some help, whether it's just a can of food, or maybe you need a little bit more support, whatever you need, the Klamath and Lake County food banks can help you. And I don't want anybody to be hungry this holiday season. We got Thanksgiving next week. I just bought my turkey today. I don't normally do these ads for food stores because I haven't gotten any money from the food stores. None of the food stores have supported this channel at all. But Fred Meyer has 59 cents a pound turkeys. They're the Kroger brand turkeys, but if you need a turkey, I got a turkey for $7. I got an 11-pound turkey for $7 today at Fred Meyer. So if you need to get a turkey, get over Fred Meyer, because they had a lot of turkeys there today, and apparently they're really affordable. And they had giant 32-ounce bags of cranberries on sale for $4.99. So I got a bag of those as well. So if you need to load up for the holiday season next week, and you can get over to Fred Meyer today, do so, because they have a lot of great deals on food at Fred Meyer. And while I'm not getting any money from them, and I am not in fact endorsed by Fred Meyer in any way, shape, or form, I definitely think there are lots of opportunities there to eat well and to take care of yourselves. So head over there as well. This week we are giving away a 30 days of gratitude, and we will be doing that on Friday. I'm reaching out to various and sundry places to see if I can't get a meal provided. It hasn't happened yet, but I'm hopeful it's going to happen today. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys again tomorrow, Wednesday, or today's Wednesday. We'll see you guys again alone for Thursday. And if anybody needs any help, if you're feeling down, if you're alone, if you need anything, send me an email at info@klamathcommunity.tv, and we will get you the resources that you need to be happy. I don't want anybody to be alone this holiday. I don't want anybody to be hungry this holiday, and I want to do what I can to help everybody. So send me an email or call me, 541-880-4913 if that's the case too. But I don't want anybody to be alone this holiday. So God bless you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for participating in this experiment that we call news. And we'll see you guys again for tomorrow. God bless. Good night. I'm Christopher German. We'll see you guys again tomorrow. Good night.